Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Max, Chief Evangelist over here at Happily, and it is the year 2025, and we are building tiny home quote configurators inside of HubSpot using quote Happily. I didn't know if anyone's ever tried to sell a tiny home inside of HubSpot. There's a lot of different configurations, a lot of different ways you can build them. Not necessarily the easiest thing to quote inside of HubSpot, so I thought, hey, can quote Happily do it? I'm pretty sure it can. Let's find out together. So I found a website for this company, Tumbleweed Tiny House Company, and they make a bunch of beautiful tiny homes. And I was wondering, hey, if they wanted to quote some of these tiny homes through HubSpot, how could we do it? So I went and took a look, and it turns out they've got a lot of these sort of like product bundles for these different tiny homes they make. The Farallon, Aspen, and Elm. And then you can see there's all these different configurations and floor plans that you can choose depending on which one you have. So I was like, how can we translate this into a bundle, right? Because we can also do the sleeping loft, the trim package, the porch, all these different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of these, and I'm going to make at least the beginning of a bundle. There are lots of options here, right? Which I could go and add, but I'm going to do just a couple to get the point across, right, on how you'd actually do something like this. So Let's do the Farallon, which starts at $95,959. All right. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to build a bundle per model is what we would do here, right? So not one bundle with all three models. It would be one bundle per model. So we'd have a Farallon bundle, an Aspen bundle, an Elm bundle, right? And the first thing they'd be choosing down here is the size. Now, something that's very interesting about this is when you adjust the size, you'll see that the floor plans change under here, right? So initially I thought the three options that I would have would be different products for the sizes, but that's actually not true. It would be different products for the floor plans of those size, right? So what I actually need to do is I'm going to start by going into HubSpot. Let's go to commerce. Let's go to products, and let's go make our bundle product for this. So we'll call this the Farallon Tiny Home Package. All right. That's what we'll call this. And we'll just say FAR for the SKU number. It's going to be a one-time. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to have the unit cost or the unit price be, let's call it 0, and then we'll have all the pricing come from the individual options themselves, and we'll make sure it actually adjusts the pricing. Let's go ahead and create this product here. All right. And then let's go ahead and create products for these different floor plans, because the floor plan seems to be the base here, right? So for the 2017 by whatever foot loft, we got the Farallon 26 Pacific and the Farallon 26 Alta. And we'll call this the Farallon 26 Pacific. All right. And we'll give this a unit price of $95,959. All right. And we'll create the product. Let's go create another one. This is going to be the Farallon 26 Alta. Let's call this Alta. And this is going to be a unit price of, so this is 1,000 more. So we'll just add 2,000 to this. So 95, we'll just call this 97, 95. All right, cool. We'll go ahead and create and add another. So let's come into here. We'll take a look at the 249 square foot loft. And then here we have the Farallon 30 Pacific and the 30 Alta. And these are both 104,000. There's no adjustment between these two. Farallon 30 Pacific. And then the unit cost here. Nope, not 95. This is going to be 104. Create that another, and this is the Farallon 30 Alta. I'll call this 30 Alta. The SKU, and then unit price is actually the same, so we're going to keep that in there. And then we've got the 390 square foot one. This is the big boy. is the big boy. We're going to call this the Farallon 33 Alta. So product Farallon 33 Alta, and then 33 Alta. And this is 153,000. This is the big boy. There's only one of these, right? So the way I'm looking at it, no matter which Farallon you're choosing one of these 5 as the base. So this is going to be the first like product. We'll call this like the size field when we go in there. So then we have a trim package. Okay. So the trim package, this is interesting. So you can either go white, red, and silver, and this is included. So this is going to be a product that is like the first included product. But then these other ones, the white bronze and the cedar wood, I'm going to ignore custom your eyes, your own colors right now because I want to focus on the bundle stuff. This will add this additional amount. So let's do that. We'll do size and then we'll do trim packages here because I could go on and do this forever, but it would pretty much be the same thing over and over again, right? So let's actually we'll do these as an example here. So let's do the red, white, and silver trim package, right? So I'm going to create a product here. We're going to call it red, white, silver, okay? RWS trim. And then unit price, I'm going to put a 0 because this is not going to affect the price, right? So we're going to go ahead and create a product here. And then we're going to create another product for, what were the other ones? White and bronze, cedar wood and bronze. So white, bronze, trim. And this was priced out as $2,779. Cool. And we'll create and add another. And then the other one was cedar, right? Cedar wood, bronze, trim. Okay. So we'll come into here and we'll give that a unit price. What was that? 8,000. Jeez. 8,579. This is a quality house here. All right. Cool. So I'll go ahead and create the product here. Now, what I would do if I was fully building this out, I would come in and I would do the same thing for any of these like options here, right? And again, things that are included, I would put 0 for the actual price. And then anything that is like additional in these different sections, I would do that, right? Now, something here, kitchen upgrades. This is an example of an add-on where people could add multiples. So maybe I'm gonna add this in as an option, right? So we can do like example, like add-ons that aren't necessarily included products. So we'll do oven, microwave, dishwasher. So let's come into here, create a product, oven. So just come into here. What are they charging for an oven? $18.79. It better be a good oven. $18.79 for an oven. Create a product. Come in here, dishwasher is $7.59. Or no, microwave is $7.59. Is that a lot for a microwave? I can't tell. I don't even know what microwaves cost these days. Microwave. And we'll go ahead and call this $7.59. We'll create down another. And then we'll just do one more for the dishwasher, which is $14.59. Cool. Here we go. Dishwasher. All right. Wonderful. So let's go ahead and create this product. Sweet. So I've got all my products in here. We'll pretend I went in and I did it for everything else in here, right? So everything that was an add-on, everything that was an option, anything that was included, things like that, right? So go build that up. Let's go into Quote Happily now, and let's configure this bundle to work the way we need it to work. Let's start by going to bundles, and let's create a new bundle here. And I'm going to select a product from the product library to be the bundle header, okay? And that's going to be my Farallon Tiny Home package, okay? I'm going to make sure this is in a price book if I want to be able to adjust the prices, right? So there we go. Add to a price book. So that is good to go. Next thing I need to do is we're going to do the included product options. So the very first one here is size, right? I'm going to call this size and layout because we're really choosing like the different layouts here as well as the size. So I'm going to add products in here, and we are going to choose the Farallon. I'm just going to search here to make my life a little bit easier. Okay, so Farallon. All right. Let's see. What was the baseline one again? It was the 217. So this is the 26 Pacific is our baseline model. And then we had the Alta and then the Alta 30. We'll go ahead and add those. And then what am I missing here? I'm missing another 30. Did I just spell it wrong? Yeah, I spelled it wrong. Oh, geez. Okay, whatever. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and add them in here. Perfect. Okay. Now the default package is going to be the 26 because this is the one it comes with. Okay. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to set it up so that if they choose one of these other options, okay, it's going to change the price. All right. Now, the difference between the 26 Pacific and the 26 Alta, if I come back here, is it added on an additional 1950. I don't actually need to do it this way. What I'm going to do is just reset this so it actually adds in the full cost of it each time. I'm not doing like an incremental change here, right? Because I'm not setting the price at the bundle level in this case, right? If I was setting the price at the bundle level, then I would have it so it's just an incremental change, but I'm actually having the bundle members themselves determine the price of the bundle itself, right? So I'm actually not going to have the automatic price overrides in here that will let me just change it by a certain amount. So this tracks. This is what I want, right? We have that for size and layout. We're going to hit save. Perfect. And then what was the other option again? If we come back into here, so we did that. And then, we did the trim package. We could have done the sleeping loft, but I think trim was a little bit more interesting. So let's come into here. We're going to go back. We're going to add an option for trim options. And then we're going to add in products here. Red, white, and silver, white bronze trim, and cedarwood bronze trim. And we're going to add the selected products. Now, we got to remember the red, white, and silver is the default. So this is going to be the default. It's not going to change the price. However, these guys, the white bronze trim and the cedarwood bronze trim, these do change the price. So I'm going to reset here and get rid of the price override because these prices should contribute to the total cost of the bundle if added. So we've got our included ones. Obviously, there's a whole bunch more, right? You could add as many as you needed to, right? We could have a whole thing for interior decor. We could add skylights. We could do all these different things, right? This is a really great example for bundles, okay? But now let's do the add-ons for the kitchen accessories, all right? And I'm going to come in here and we're going to go do our oven, our dishwasher, and our microwave, and we're going to add the selective products. Now, here's the thing. We're only able to add one, so we don't want to let them have an infinite quantity here, right? So we're just going to do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 for the max quantity. We're going to allow a sales rep to select more than one of the products below because you could have an oven and a dishwasher and a microwave. It's not like you can only have one or the other ones. And we're going to set the default quantity to 1, minimum quantity to 1, max quantity to 1. All right. So let's go ahead and save the options here. Wonderful. Okay. We've got our size and layout. We've got our trim options. We've got our kitchen accessories. We've got our products added. Let's go ahead and turn on this bundle. All right. And let's go ahead and build a deal with this tiny home configurator, or at least a basic version of it. All right. So I'm going to go create a deal. We're going to call this tiny home. And we're going to go hit create. Okay. So we'll let that deal kind of cook, do its thing. We're going to open up Quote Happily here, and we're going to create a new quote on this deal. And what we're going to want is I'm going to make sure I have my bundle template selected, and I am going to add a line item here. I'm going to go to bundles, and I'm going to choose the Farallon Tiny Home package, right? So here I would see other bundles for those different tiny homes we have because they're all going to have different configuration options because they're all unique, right? I probably have 3 here for those 3 different tiny homes. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add. Quote Happily is going to do its thing here. And then what we should be able to do is add the configuration. So when I'm coming here and quoting this tiny home, I can come and see I have options for size and layout as well as trim options. And the base models are selected for me. And you can see the subtotal down here. So let's say we want to go ahead and upgrade from the 26 layout to the 33 Alta. I can go ahead and swap that. You'll see the price will automatically change right here. And then let's say I want to get that in the white and bronze trim. I can go ahead and swap to the white and bronze trim. And then from here, I want to do my add-ons for kitchen accessories. We're doing all of it, man. We're getting an oven, we're getting a dishwasher, we're getting a microwave, and I can go ahead and hit save. It's automatically adding the items to the quote. And as you can see, it's going ahead and adjusting this. Now, there's a lot of other cool things I could do here. I could have an automatic fee get attached, for example, when certain products get added for like installations or something like that, right? But I can also go and apply discounting to any of these things if I want to. If I want to get really granular, it's super simple. But I've got my bundle all filled out. And then if I go ahead and hit preview quote, we should be able to see that we've got the tiny home package here. We can see the net price that it's going to cost total, and we can see all the different parts and all the selections that I made that actually contribute to that net price. But anyway, that's how you use HubSpot to be able to sell tiny home bundles, which is something you can do now with HubSpot quoting in the year 2025. We finally made it, and we finally made HubSpot quoting great. But if you guys have any questions on other things that we can turn into bundle pricing that you may have thought would have been difficult or damn near impossible to sell inside of HubSpot, comment on the video below. Give us a challenge. Let us make some complicated bundle pricing, because we know we can do it for tiny homes now. So if we can do it for tiny homes, we can probably do it for anything. Thanks, everybody.